This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
G'day everyone, and welcome to this week's SmackDown review. I am your host, Daniel. I'm going to be filling in for the next couple weeks as Amanda takes a few weeks off on her holidays. Really grateful to, get started and provide my takes over the next few weeks on SmackDown. For just a small introduction, as I mentioned, my name is Daniel. I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and I've been a long WWE fan since I was pretty much a young kid, and having the opportunity to, talk about SmackDown for the next couple of weeks is something that I'm really grateful of, and I really got to thank Matt for providing me with the opportunity to do so. If you're a regular listener who hasn't subscribed, or you're a first-time listener, please do subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss any of our shows. We do Raw reviews as well as NXT reviews and PLEs. And without further ado, let's kick off on what has been a pretty decent SmackDown episode. Lots of building storylines as we go into Crown Jewel, and lots of, questions answered but not fully answered in terms of the bloodline and things happening with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. But we do start the show with Jimmy Uso, who's returned after 6 months from Bad Blood and now getting into SmackDown. Lots of positive pops from the crowd, which is good to see. Good for Jimmy's confidence there. And as he enters the ring, he welcomes everyone to SmackDown and mentions that he's been on the shelf for 6 months to the hands of Solo, who didn't even do it face to face. He was blindsided with the attack and debut of Tama Tonga back in April, I believe, the week after, or the first SmackDown after Mania. Basically, then he goes on to talk about how he can't wait to kick his little brother's ass. And from then, Roman Reigns enters the ring with a lot of ones to the sky and a massive pop, which was cool to see. It's really awesome to see all the ones to the sky now with Roman Reigns becoming a babyface. In terms of his new music, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I much prefer his older music. I think it was a bit more, Tribal Chief looking vibes, more, head of the table, more dominant. But with this new babyface turn that he's going with, it did make sense that they changed the song. But anyway, he enters the ring. He mentions that he normally runs SmackDown very structurally, very controlled, and pretty much says that he's going to free Roman this time, telling the fans to join him and acknowledge Jimmy Uso, which I found quite strange. But yet again, babyface, new character, so something that is obviously going to be a bit different to us normally, or him normally telling us to acknowledge him. But anyway, he continues on mentioning and asking why Jimmy Uso is seeking revenge, which doesn't really make a lot of sense from him. Jimmy's younger brother did attack him and blindsided him and allowed him to, be on the shelf for 6 months, which he literally explained just before you came out. But trying to make the promo strong. He mentions that he's not a wise man, but he is a tribal chief. And the tribal chief is the person that was in control over the 4 years and basically won all the gold and had all the money. Then he mentions Jimmy about how he wanted to buy a house. Jimmy wanted to buy a house, and that Roman said he could buy all the houses, which I kind of found a little cringe. I don't think executed to his plan. The crowd didn't really laugh at that or anything, and it's kind of a bit weird. But anyway, continuing on, he then mentions that he is the GOAT, and he always is and always will be the GOAT, and that his tribal chief and his bloodline are the GOATs too, and that they are the ones. And he told the crowd that when they put their fingers to the sky, it's them to say that they are the ones, and to which Jimmy replies they are not. Mentions that they are severely undermanned and they're going to need some more help, to which the crowd responds, with Heat chants. Jimmy playing with that says he knows the exact person that can help him out, obviously referring to Jey Uso, to which Roman Reigns replies, "No yeet." That does make sense, obviously, since Roman did get betrayed by Jey Uso, and he definitely was on Cody Rhodes' side back in WrestleMania, costing him his WWE Championship. Jimmy Uso then basically mentions that he's the only one in the family that acknowledges him, and then he walks out the ring, I guess allowing Roman Reigns to think about his decision. We then move on to the United States Championship match between LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes. Obviously, with AJ Styles losing the match or forfeiting the match due to an injury last week on SmackDown. This was, I guess, enough for Carmelo Hayes to get this title shot with LA Knight. Both superstars enter the ring. And what I did notice, I guess this is because probably I think it's Alicia Taylor, her name is not to the level of Samantha Irvin, but they don't let her announce, well, once they enter the ring, they don't really announce the match between challenger and competitor after they come out. And then you see the ref like holding the title and stuff, which is something that I would have liked to see. It does add more significance to the match. Again, we are having a title match on SmackDown. We're not having it on a PLE and stuff, which is good to see. And you kind of want to make it a bit more significant rather than it just being a normal match. But yeah, as the match got underway, we saw Carmelo Hayes take control. Then we did see Andrade come out and decide to take a seat and view the match. It was a pretty back and forth ongoing. We did see some awesome counters from Carmelo Hayes. That BFT counter was really, really impressive, if I'm honest. And he did one counter too much because as he tried to counter again with a backflip, LA Knight hit him with the BFT and got a clean victory on Carmelo Hayes. The match was pretty good though. I'm really a big fan of Carmelo Hayes in ring, and his matches with Andrade have been pretty good as well. And then mentioning Andrade after the match, he did taunt him as Carmelo Hayes has done and did last time as well. And you can see that there's still tension between the two, and especially since they're tied at 3-3, we are probably going to see another match to kind of end the tie. And I think later on, Nick Aldis did mention backstage that there was going to be a Game 7, obviously referring to the NBA playoffs. And whoever is an NBA fan, myself, it's the best matches out of 7. So whoever wins 4 of the 7 eventually or advances to the next stage. So I guess with Carmelo Hayes' gimmick and the way he mentions Melo don't miss nothing, and his finisher called nothing but net, it does kind of make sense that this is going to Game 7. And have been a big fan of them too, I guess, showcasing their in-ring abilities over 6 matches. And it'll be awesome to see a 7th match between them, or a Game 7, as Nick Aldis mentioned. In terms of like anything for them going forward with the United States Championship, I don't really see how any of them could be a worthy contender for LA Knight. We have seen LA Knight versus Andrade, and he lost. We also saw just now Carmelo Hayes losing to LA Knight. So don't really see if we do get one of the winners, them doing anything and them getting even close to defeating LA Knight for the US title. They may do a triple threat match, but again, I don't really see how that does anything. LA Knight's still going to be the winner, and it just kind of takes away the feud between the two that they've got. And LA Knight, I guess they're trying to get him a competitor or someone to be involved with in this championship run. But again, there's no way I see any of these two defeating LA Knight for the title. We then get a segment with Jimmy Uso walking backstage and walking up to Cody Rhodes. That was where Cody thanked Jimmy for helping him, and Jimmy said consider it as a favor. Cody then mentions that Solo is not the same Solo that was when Jimmy Uso was there, but basically said that he wants to handle family business, and Cody is handling business of his own as the WWE champion. Which would I like to mention, it is finally good to see that we are separating Cody from the bloodline. It's made SmackDown a lot more interesting now, with Cody finally getting a feud that's been worthwhile, because let's be honest here, after Cody finished his story, he hasn't really started anything new or anything that's been, I guess, dramatic, or a feud that's been worthwhile watching. We knew that he would win all these matches, and now that we're seeing what's happened and what's transpired with Kevin Owens, it's really interesting to see what will happen next. And then we did see a video package with the NXT Tag Team Champions. Don't really know much about them. Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, Miss Jackson, she likes to be called, just talking about how they've handled their business on NXT and they've earned this title opportunity, and they're about to show us, I guess, what they're all about. We then get into commercial. They enter the ring, and as they're about to make their SmackDown or main brand debut match, Kevin Owens gets to ringside wearing a Dusty Rhodes top, which is pretty funny. He basically says that he's not supposed to be here today. He's been suspended. But I basically wanted to mention why people were thinking that he was the one that turned on Cody Rhodes. He felt as though Cody turned on him. They turned off his microphone. He then tried to go and use Corey Graves' headset to basically explain himself. And then as he was about to start explaining himself, Cody enters the ring very aggressively, very angry. And then Kevin Owens goes into the middle of the ring as well. You can see security everywhere. And then Randy Orton appears, who seems to be the peacemaker at the moment, or as it seems. He tells Cody to go away and he'll talk to him. And then he went into the ring. As soon as he gets into the ring, he gives Kevin Owens a shove and tries to, I guess, restrain him. And while he does that, Owens elbows him at the back, straight to the head. And then as soon as that happened, Randy Orton punched him right in the face. And you could see Kevin Owens in shock as he sat into the corner. And after that, just walking away from, obviously not through the stage, but through the back into the crowd there. You could see that I think Randy Orton regretted what he did. But I guess if you're getting hit at the back of the head, that would be your realistic and initial reaction. We then get the championship match. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair entering the ring. We do see Chelsea Green and Piper Niven there. It seems as though from the backstage video package that we got after the commercial break and after they entered the ring, that they were having some conversations, and Chelsea Green mentioning that they were getting ducked by Jade and Bianca. And we get the match underway. We see the new debutants, Lash Legend and Miss Jackson, go off to a pretty good start here. Lots of pretty good moves, lots of good combinations between the two, showing that they are working pretty well and they do have good chemistry in the ring. As we get to close to the ring, we see Lash kick Chelsea Green down, which was pretty funny, because then you saw Michael Cole basically doing like some girth and yelling, "Ugh," and it was really funny to see that Michael Cole was still going along with this Chelsea Green being trashed and in the dumpster. I personally like Chelsea Green and I love this character, so I really hope they kind of do more things for her. But essentially, after that, Jade comes in and pretty much handles business with Bianca, finishes the match. So it was, from the scheme of things, a relatively short match. Probably made sense though, considering Jade Cargill can't last more than 5 or 10 minutes in a match. And we were able to kind of really see what the NXT Women's Champions were about, especially myself, since I didn't really know much about them. But from what I saw, they look pretty good. And I guess now we're starting to see more tag teams in the women's division, which is good. And hopefully we can get someone to take the belts off Jade and Bianca, because I'm going to be honest, their run has been pretty poor. You can see Bianca's just helping Jade out and is clearly underutilized. And I guess until Jade decides to, improve in ring, we're probably going to see these two for a little bit longer. But I'm really hoping one or the other turns on each other and we can get a WrestleMania match. Hopefully Jade can get to a level where she can perform as a single star and not with the help of Bianca Belair. Again, we didn't really expect the NXT champions to win this match, so it does sort of make sense that it was relatively quick. But we did get to see, again, how they went. We then obviously go to commercial break, and then we see Randy Orton and Nick Aldis talking to Cody Rhodes. Nick Aldis basically mentioning that he should go home, that he needs him for crown jewel, and he needs him to win that crown jewel championship, which is pretty awesome. I do like that obviously the SmackDown, there is a SmackDown and Raw rivalry here that Nick Aldis is obviously supporting his superstar, and it makes it a bit more interesting. And then Randy Orton, which was probably the most interesting part of the whole show, in my opinion, telling Cody Rhodes to take the WWE title, get on the bus and get out. And you could just see the way he handed the title to Cody Rhodes, which is a little hint that their eventual match could happen. And I really do hope that happens. WWE is doing a really good job to slowly build that, especially with those little kind of actions there. I'm sure everyone did see how he was holding the title. It wasn't like he just handed to him with ease. He did place his hand on it and tap Cody Rhodes. And the way he did hold it looked really good on Randy Orton. And it would be cool to see him become a 15-time world champion. But I guess that's still far along the track here. We also see Nick Aldis, or we saw that Nick Aldis told Orton that he is the voice of reason. Who would have thought? And I think that's what everyone was thinking, like how Randy Orton is basically becoming the neutralizer here. It's not really Randy Orton to do that. So obviously it made sense why Nick Aldis said that, to which Orton didn't obviously respond to. But again, moving on, we get Nia Jax entering the ring with Tiffany Stratton. Basically, Nia mentioned that Bayley put up a great fight, made her almost break a sweat. However, there's no one that can, I guess, beat her or challenge her to a title, and especially not Liv Morgan. She then mentions once she defeats Liv Morgan, grabs Tiffany Stratton by the neck, put her in a little bit of a headlock and says, when it's Tiffy time, that's when she'll cash in on Liv Morgan. I do think Tiff is eventually going to cash in on Nia. We obviously have had teasers to that, but I think the best chance to do it is at Crown Jewel, and I think that would make the most sense, where you have Liv Morgan and Nia Jax on the floor, and an opportunity for Tiffany to not only betray Nia, but even to do it when she had the opportunity to cash in on Liv Morgan instead. So we'll see what happens in Crown Jewel. That's a bit of an early prediction for myself. But then we get a quite nice surprise. Or actually before that, I believe Naomi comes into the ring, basically mentions that if it wasn't for Tiffany Stratton, who she beat last week, Nia Jax wouldn't have been the champion. She also mentioned that she pinned Nia, giving her the deservance of a title opportunity, to which Nia responds, well, it took two people to pin her, and she was getting tired of Naomi getting involved. And basically then Naomi gets into Jax's face, claims that she could beat Jax right now. Then Jax mentions and tells Nick Aldis to get a referee into the ring because she wanted to annihilate Naomi. And as the ref walks into the ring and we're about to start this match, surprise, surprise, Liv Morgan, the women's world champion, makes her entrance with Raquel Rodriguez, her seemingly new muscle, and Dominic Mysterio. Liv said that she came all the way over to make an example of Nia Jax. She also said she's going to watch the match and see Nia Jax lose, and exactly as she'll lose to Morgan at Crown Jewel. We then see Jax push Naomi down, get into commercial, and then as we return, we get told that it isn't a title match, which I guess makes sense because Liv Morgan did mention she was going to verse Nia at Crown Jewel, so I guess having a title match would have just defeated the purpose, because we would have obviously known that Nia Jax would have won the match. But it didn't. She didn't end up winning due to a interference from Raquel Rodriguez getting the ref to be distracted, and then Liv Morgan hitting her with Tiffany Stratton's briefcase there, which was quite interesting. It's good to see that they're building a rivalry between two heels there. You always wonder how the heel on heel can kind of go out with each other, but that was a really good execution there. And I don't know what's going to happen with Naomi now, considering that she has beaten Nia Jax. She obviously has earned the right to a championship opportunity in the future. I personally want Naomi to turn heel on Bayley, and I really hope that she does get a heel turn. As much as I like her as a face, I feel like a heel turn would be something that would get a lot of eyes on screens. And I think it would be very interesting to see her, I guess, betray. I think the best way to do it is to betray Bailey and just go on a massive heel run. Because let's be honest, we don't see Naomi defeating Nia Jax, even if she does get a championship opportunity there. But at the moment, she is getting a bit of momentum. She's won a few matches. So let's see what WWE does with that. We then, as that match is concluded, we then see Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and Dominic walk out of the stage. Then we surprisingly get Rhea Ripley's music, which was, rather surprising. A few surprises and a few crossovers here. Rhea Ripley coming on and firstly attacking Raquel Rodriguez, and then Liv Morgan obviously running as she normally does, but this time running straight into Nia Jax. Rhea Ripley just then ends up kicking Nia Jax in the head, which I found quite funny as well. Made sense. Then she went on to attack Liv Morgan, and then Dirty Dominic Mysterio distracts Rhea again. I think Rhea just keeps getting sidelined by Dom, and it's quite annoying, to be honest, because I'm waiting for Rhea to just beat the crap out of Morgan, but I guess it makes sense protecting her. And then they managed to escape there. But it was cool to see Rhea Ripley. It seems like that feud is definitely not over. And now with the implementation of Raquel Rodriguez, who's about a similar size as Rhea, makes a whole ton of sense there. We then get the backstage with Mallow, as we mentioned in Game 7, with Nick Aldis having that match. And then Legado del Fantasma, or Santo Escobar, appears and approaches Aldis, saying that they haven't had any opportunities, which is not true. As Nick Aldis mentioned, he did lose the US title match, but then obviously mentions that his Los Garzas haven't had any opportunities. And then Aldis told them that next week they'll have a team, as he's found one. And from the news and reports, it looks like the Motor City Machine Guns will be probably versing them on their debuts. I haven't really heard much about them either. I know they've made waves on TNA and AEW, but it's actually good to see that we're getting more tag teams in WWE. And I feel like we only have the Bloodline, obviously, and then the Street Profits and DIY, which we did see arguing as well at the end. We then get a small little promo with Sol Sikoa in a video package saying that Jimmy will acknowledge him. And then, as mentioned, the arguments between DIY and the Street Profits. Nick Aldis mentioning that there's going to be a new tag team, as we previously again mentioned. But then it pans out to another interesting part, probably again the most interesting part. Kevin Owens, who seems to be the backstage brawler, then attacks Randy Orton. And I think this is where, for me personally, solidified this heel turn, because I thought before that I didn't think it was a heel turn turning on Cody Rhodes, or not really turning, but attacking him, because you do normally see heel turns happen in ring, but not only in ring when there is a backstage or like hitting from the back or a betrayal of some sort, whether it's title, etc., etc. But yeah, this kind of solidified this heel turn as Kevin Owens attacks Randy Orton and mentions if he's going to take sides, that's basically what's going to happen. And I guess this is going to leave a lot of questions in the future now, with Kevin Owens attacking both Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. And quite frankly, I really like this because I think Kevin Owens was due for a bit of a heel turn. His face run was good, and he's able to obviously do both face and heel runs pretty well. But I think a heel run will at least make it convincing that he might have a chance against Cody Rhodes, or at least make this feud a bit more spicy as we get into Crown Jewel and to Survivor Series. So yeah, he turns on now Randy Orton, which poor guy was trying to diffuse the situation there. So it'll be interesting to see what Randy Orton will do now with that, and obviously lurkings of what's going to happen between him and Cody too for that eventual fight, I hope. We then get onto the main event, where we see Jimmy Uso make his entrance, and it's his first match since WrestleMania 40 when he lost to his brother. And then we see the Bloodline come out, clearly outnumbered 4-1. Solo gets the victory here due to Jacob Fatu's constant distractions and the Bloodline's distractions there. And then obviously after the show, the Bloodline with their typical Bloodline shenanigans attack Jimmy Uso 4-on-1. We then see Roman Reigns come into the ring. First thing he does is Superman punch Jacob Fatu, then gets on a tear of Superman punch to the Tongans. And then as he's about to get his hands on Solo Sikoa, we see Jacob Fatu come in the ring and the numbers game begins. We see a Samoan spike from Solo to Roman Reigns, which I kind of liked. I kind of liked to see that Solo finally got his hands on Roman Reigns. I know people are obviously against Solo, but just for the significance of the show, showing that Solo's new bloodline is getting on top. And that will mean that Roman will definitely need to consider bringing in some reinforcements in hopefully Jey Uso and potentially Sami Zayn, which I don't know who else could potentially be that fourth member. But this show definitely, or this ending to the show definitely showed that the pairing of Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns will definitely need an upgrade to at least 4 members to obviously build up to the Survivor Series Bloodline Civil War. We didn't see The Rock come out, which probably was expected since he only came out on Bad Blood. But it'll be really interesting to see how The Rock kind of gets involved in this Bloodline feud and what will happen over the next weeks within SmackDown or Raw, because it does look like with the new champion versus champion and now this Bloodline Civil War, we're going to see a lot of crossovers between the two shows. But yeah, I guess until next week, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for tuning into the show once again and hope to see you in the next show. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.